Well, hello. Ngakamusa. I know, bitch. We back. We in it. You know, if I put on a stitch, a smidgen of makeup, I'm like, I gotta talk to my people. All of a sudden, I got things I have to say to the people. Ah, she's shallow. Yes, she is. Even in the new year. Hello. Hello, hi, it is me. It is I. Small town TD. You're a Khadian DJ Ray. Internet and Akastrach. I am back. Hello, yalla. Yalla. I don't even know where to start because I'm a bit lost in the sauce, but there are parts of the story. You know me, I'll find an angle, but there are parts of the story that just stick out to me because they've always weighed heavy on me. And we'll get into it. Didi, what are we on about? Dominic or Dominique? I think it's Dominic. Dominic, who's a TikToker, a very popular TikToker. I tried to find what pronouns they go by, and I couldn't find, but I see that a lot of the people whose content I watch sometimes, and they're not the type to misgender somebody, they say he. I've always thought they go by them and she sometimes, so I'm not sure what's going on there. But if I make a mistake, like somewhere during the video, it's not to misgender them. I just don't know. Like, I really, really don't know, and it's probably there somewhere, right? But Dominic, who is non-gender conforming in appearance, if you would like, and the two ladies whose alter egos are said to be, well, it's an alter ego. It's like Sasha Fierce, right? It's they say they are traditional healers. That's their persona online. That's the character that they play for entertainment, and they go by Skhotheni and Maweni. Okay, because I know fucking way anybody's going to those two bitches for healing. I'm telling you, okay. It's thingaki. It's live performances, like, and they are full time in character as these people because that's what, that's how they make the bread. Great. They are finding themselves in a little bit of a kerfuffle, and there are so many tangents. Like, there's so much to chew on. It's all on TikTok. If you just go and search, maybe you will find, if you are not the type to follow these kinds of people. Generally, when I see a Skhotheni or Maweni story, I'm bored. Like, I move on with my life, and it's not me being like highbrow and like highfalutin or anything like that. It's just an issue of like, I really don't rate them. Like, I truly don't rate them. I find them to be disgraceful. As an African person who's really respectful of our practices, I just find them distasteful, and I hate to give them any kind of spotlight. But there's a whole big deal now, and from what I understand, it stems from the fact that the one whose persona is Skhotheni or Skhotheni, I don't know, babe, got on a podcast, and she was asked something about Dominic, and she said the one thing she doesn't like about Dominic is that when something happens online, it gets taken offline, and it sometimes leads to people losing their jobs. So, for instance, what they're saying is like, if Dominic has this thing where people do bully her, like people bully them online, because we're a homophobic country. Like, we really, really are, despite our laws. Like, we are really deeply entrenched in the homophobia. I see it everywhere around me, and people who just, everyday people that I exist around, some of the ideas they have, I'll get into that because that's what this video is really about for me. We just are those people, but people have such a deep disdain, and most of it, a lot of the times for me, it seems internalized. Like, you have your own internal conflict, and you really can't stand the fact that this what you feel as a man must present as this thing, and they refuse to do that. They shop in the world the way that makes them comfortable, the way that they want to show up, and that makes a lot of people angry, right? And they say things, they threaten, they border on like cyberbullying. They just full on cyberbully. They say things that could get them dismissed, and she gets them dismissed, or they get them dismissed, and it happens. So Skhotheni says that's what they don't like about, that's what Because, like, to me, she's multiple people, Skhotheni. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on there. But then, Jen, you follow me, right? So then this whole thing spiraled now. Like, Dominic came back and was like, whatever it is that she said, Gogo Maweni got involved. And then now they're outing each other's husbands or partners. Gogo Skhotheni's partner, and everybody's like, but wait, didn't Dominic just out Sabelo, whomever? But it's a whole bunch of things happening. Do you understand? Like, you're probably so bored with me right now. Like, Rahadi, what is this? But I'm trying to work this year on giving you the story before I tell you what's going on, because some of you here just don't go on there. You just come on here to listen to what the fuck I have to say. But really what I want to talk about is the slippery slope into becoming the very thing that you don't like. But also I want to talk about Black women and our homophobia, because we easily, it's readily available, the slur, the insult, the jab at a man's sexuality, a gay man's sexuality. It's always like, it's a little too close. It's just a little bit, it's not that far. Like, the moment there's a disagreement, we want to start calling them stuff and doing whatever, and outing people and saying they shouldn't. I'm seeing it now. I'm seeing it in the people's responses, but I've also seen it over the past year or so. And it reminds me of, and I think I've shared this with you guys a while ago. Years ago, a very good friend of mine who happens to be gay said to me, I don't know what was happening. I was like, no, girl, whatever, right? And then they didn't say it in the moment. Maybe a while, and not even that day. I think it was a while when we were sitting after the fact and we were just being candid. And, he says to me, friend, I don't like when Black women refer to me as girl or, whatever. Like, because when I was a little boy, we would hang and be, ourselves with a girl I was friends with, the moment we were not getting along, she throws my sexuality in my face. So then I don't trust where it's coming from. And it stung, because I was like, it stung for a number of things. I was hurt on his behalf that he has to navigate the world with that thing existing in his brain of like, these Black women I'm hanging around. And I say Black because I'm Black, and if I'm like around gay men, they're probably Black, but these girls that I'm friends with, what do they really think of me? Is our friendship cool for as long as it's convenient? Like, I'm a girl, hey girl, for as long as it's cute, and the moment something happens, then my gayness becomes a problem as well. It becomes something to weaponize and try to hurt me or shame me about. Like, he has to navigate the world with that in his mind, and with us existing in the same space, and can't fully trust whether what I'm saying as a term of endearment is that, or under that is a slight, like, it's me being a little bit shady at the same time. That's kind of fucked up for somebody to have to navigate spaces like that, in spaces where they should otherwise be trusting of the people in those spaces. It kind of stung me for that. And it also stung me because I'm like, bitch, it's me. Oh, girl and bitch. I'm like, bitch, like, it's me. I didn't say that. I was like, I didn't say that to him, because I immediately heard where he's coming from, and it was just valid. It wasn't a moment for me to defend whether or not I'm homophobic. It wasn't a moment for me to just be like, yeah, but I'm not like that. It fucking doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because here we are, and for all intents and purposes, Gogo Maweni and Skhotheni probably have gay men around them all the time that they hang with. And it's girl this, and it's chomi this, and it's chomi that, or chomi this and but we can get online, and when we're fighting with Dominic, start talking about how Dominic chooses to present themselves in the broader public, even on social media, right? We can say things about like, oh, your nails, or you're not a man, or you're this, and then you're that. But then Dominic goes and like starts saying, oh, your husband was soliciting sex, or was making sexual advances at me, or trying to solicit whatever it is that he's accusing there. he then becomes the very same person he doesn't want to be, or the same person he's fighting people online when when they bully him about his sexuality. He has now, in this anger, I feel like he's getting lost in the sauce. I really feel like my bitch is like getting lost in the sauce there for a second, and I think we might be at a moment where we need to pull back. We need to get offline a little bit, because you're staying online long enough to become the villain that you were fighting against. And that's the thing about the ascent, right? People are on your side until they're not. We love the build up to tear you down type of thing. And for too long, for a person with the ideas, the thought, just the way, the advocacy that Dominic does for his marginalized community, that work that they do around that stuff is far more important. And I feel like pulling back would help to re-strategize how you're going to come back into the fray, because right now you're spending most of your time just like fighting the losers, right? Like fighting the losers and not doing much educating, not doing much and not that you're not doing any of it at all, but the brand now becomes, oh, he will read you down, oh, he will find your address, oh, do you understand what I'm saying? That becomes your brand, and I don't think that's why we're online. I don't think that's why she came on here. Like, I really don't think that was the thing. I think that was, and it was necessary, and an element of it will always be necessary, because otherwise this shit runs rampant. The bullying gets out of control. Once in a while, people do need to be reminded that, listen, what you're doing is actually bullying, and what you're doing actually fucks with people's mental. And also, you coming online and threatening with people, like threatening a person with bodily harm or whatever it is you're threatening them with, that shit is criminal. Like, if your bosses see this, you're not going to be at your job. It's your responsibility to not come online and talk crazy, right? There's a lot of things happening here. Yes, go back to the drawing board and rework your thing. But the lady who's like persona is the Skhotheni Sangoma. That lady is also wrong for me to say, and then you go and get people fired. No, bitch, you got yourself fired. Okay? If you didn't say anything that warrants like dismissal, you are not gonna get dismissed. I can't call up your job and say, and then they're gonna fire you. No, I fucking won't. What did you say, baby? What the fuck did you say up on here, the online, that is like deemed a dismissible offense over by your job? You should have looked out for you. You should have been fucking with your bag instead of trying to fuck with Dominique's safety. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot going on. There's a lot of, oh, just let the people bully you. It's almost like, let us talk however we want to talk about you. Don't fight back. But the thing about fighting back as well is that people will root for you until they just feel like it's a little too much winning going on there. And also, have you amassed such an audience that you're now wielding your power in such a way that it's also bordering on you also being a bully? But I believe if you're reporting somebody and they get dismissed, they did something that is dismissible. Like, that warrants them getting dismissed. Like, it's that simple. And people should then come online and move in the broader public a little more cautious, so the rest of us can feel safe, so the gay children we have around us can feel safe, so the non-binary children we've been birthing can feel safe, right? People do, like, these things are necessary. A lot is happening here with this conversation, and my brain is a little bit all over the place with it, but baby girl does need to pull back a little bit. Baby girl needs to pull back a little bit before and also the fans, I'm seeing a lot of people trying to like, people who are fans of Dominic trying to be sort of like an accountable kind of audience member, if you would like. And the others who are just like, well, I'm going down with the ship and I don't give a shit. And a lot of that comes from knowing that the bullying is not gonna stop. And when people did not have these tools and this power, they went through grade school having to experience this kind of abuse from a system that wasn't going to discipline those boys. Dominic has told a story about what boys would do, older boys or boys in matric in school, the threats of like trying to harm her when she's going to the loo or whatever, things that she dealt with throughout high school. And the systems in place did not protect her, and now she finally has a little bit of power to push back, and hopefully in doing so that will signal to other people, don't do that at the school to the other boy that's not presenting in the way that you're told a boy is supposed to present. Maybe it's not a good idea to do that, you're gonna get in trouble. Do you understand what I'm saying though? But Dominic now has had to wait to be this grown to be able to fight back, right? There's a lot of anger there. There's a lot of ground that you feel you need to make up for. Once you have a little bit of that strength, you're not gonna try to let people take even an inch from you. You're gonna wield it as you should, because the broader society at large is still trying to other you. Even though we're acting like, oh my god, everybody's so open, everybody's so this, nobody's that, especially black women. Okay, we partner with the homophobic men, do we not? Hello, we do. We make children with them, knowing that if this child is going to be gay, it's going to be a problem. We take on the role of like trying to correct that child. There's an obsession with colors around gender that women especially are obsessed with, because we do all the party planning and all of that stuff. Dealing in the event space, the amount of, by the way, ask like people bake cakes. If you deal in the event space or do anything creative wise that people like sort your services or your product or whatever to gift a man or a boy child, the creativity around that process is stifling. It's hard to deal with because you have the mother, you have the black mother so fixated on trying to make sure that you don't do no gay shit, right? Without using that exact language. And that's the same person who wants to go say, hey, Chomi, hey, and then we're surprised when there's a bit of an animosity there between us and the gay men. We're shocked when that happens. But we're the ones who are also, because we're raising the children and we're the ones perpetuating the culture, we're also the ones obsessed with making sure it's the right shade of blue for your baby boy, your 6-month-old who doesn't know the first fucking thing about this. What other will call you day and night trying to confirm that, remember, it's a boy, so don't do it. They don't do that with the girls. There isn't all of this faffing and fussing. I'm telling you now what I have to deal with. Remember, it's a boy, so don't. No, we can't do that because it's a boy. No, 6 months old. No, we can't do that. No personality. No, we can't. This is you. These are your thoughts. These are your things to deal with. Your child doesn't know about these fucking colors and the gender that you've assigned these colors. That's you. And then you want to go chomi, and then you want to go friend, and then you're surprised when there's an animosity and a distrust there of what you really think. Whether or not you would be happy to raise a little boy who happens to be gay. Right? Because your husband will blame you. Like husbands blame their wives for when their child is gay. You guys know that, right? That's why you do all of that, like trying to like course correct, if you would like, or gender or sexuality correct your sons. That's why you do all of that stuff. It's the praying. You guys, it's so hot in here. It is so hot in here. My battery cut out while I was still talking. But anyway, you're mad that you can't paint your nails or try anything. Like you can't try a damn thing. Like, these are the 5 things that you can be. Okay, and if you can't be exactly these 5 things, then you're not a this enough, and something is wrong with you, and blah 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 blah, and the other men are not gonna like you, which is not true. You'll like each other, so you're fucking. But like, also like, the men are fucking each other, you all. Okay, I don't mean to be an alarmist, and I don't mean to be this person, But when we exist in this kind of world where we also come on here as women, we said this about Mikhali as well. There's a new comfort, like there's a new comfortability, if you would like, online to say somebody's an after nine and a whatever. And sometimes I open the profiles because I want to see what we look like. I'm like, you're too young to think like this. You are too young to be this wayward and backward, babe. Like, where'd you get these ideas from? Do you understand? How much you want to bet though that that person is gay men in their circle and is show me this and is show me that. Show me will fuck your man and show me is fucking your man, babe. And part of the reason that show me is fucking your man is because women like us exist and prop up all of this, trying to stifle, propping up this part of patriarchy in particular, where men get to be this one particular thing and your son must like only this color and it's also confined. And if your son ever came back home and said he wants to do ballet, you would flip. Do we want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about the roles that we play in helping keep men in the closet that like ends up hurting us? Because it's a whole circle. It ends up hurting us because they sneak around behind our backs. That's what they do. And they're not being cautious when they're sneaking around because when you're stealing something out of the pot, there's usually sauce here, right? Because you're not being careful with how you're doing the thing. You're stealing, right? And that's why the infections look like that. Okay? That's why they look like that. Because we are part of the reason people can't live in their truths. And maybe someday we're going to be ready to have that conversation. Some of you are part of the reason, like you're the reason your son is in the closet. He's gay with everybody else but you. You never even met him. You gave birth to him, raised him, and the moment you realize you are a homophobic, like Christian hypocrite who is staying in like a dead marriage with the philandering husband, but your main gripe in life is like he can't be gay, he can't be gay. So you have never ever met his authentic self since he's come into himself. He's your son in name. Some of you. And then those of us as well who hook up unsuspecting or naive young women, especially in the church, and we hook them up with a man that we know is gay, and we say God is work. You, my darling, who believes in hell, special place for you for doing that to that girl. Special place. I've seen it. I've been to many of these. It's so hot on you guys. It's so hot. But like I've been where we know exactly what's going on. So we can get to walk around when people say, isn't he gay? He has a wife. You mean that beard? You mean that woman you've put in that like very uncomfortable predicament where he gets to walk around, right, in broader society, having the things that signal manhood, argo a wife, right? But what quality of life is that woman having? Right? What is her experience with this man when we could just like let people be? Literally, none of this happens if people are allowed to be themselves. Dominic is not reporting people. People are not losing their jobs because people are not online threatening Dominic because Dominic dares to have some fucking long nails. None of this happens if we just cut this shit the fuck out. That's all. I hope I didn't yell at you guys. Yeah. Bye.